Go in your bedroom. I don't want to fucking hear any fucking bullshit or lies you have to say about it.
Alana, what you're doing right now is very wrong, and you have to listen to me right now. He is trying to help you, and you're not taking that into account. All he wants is for you to take accountability of who is in your life, and he is in your life. And you need to work on your cognition and memory recall. If you need to look up what this projection is and forecast is, then do it. But don't play games like this. This is not right of you. This is causing problems in your life, causing outliers that should not exist. Do you understand me? It's important to see that you're 41 years old and you don't need to allow this anxiety to cloud your mind like this, okay? If you wouldn't do this to another person, then you shouldn't do this to him, and you shouldn't do this to yourself. This is important. If you want help, you need to be willing to accept it. And that means active listening and using your brain and playing a game that should be played correctly, not this anxiety-controlled responses that you're giving. This is not going to get you anywhere. You have to understand this. I love you very much, and I want you to have help, but I want you to remember that you have a heart and that you love people too, and you're working on practicing more self-care. You're not giving yourself care by refusing to analyze a question or a situation and forecast it correctly. I'm not sure what's going on with you right now. You're tired and you're beating yourself up in the process, and you've already done this for 3 years, and this is wrong. You can't afford to do this anymore. Do you understand me? This is not correct, and this is not going to get you far where you want to go. You have to be confident in your responses, you have to be confident in your answers, and you have to know what you're saying. In an interview, it can come out of the blue, just like it did earlier in the van. And now you playing games like this, you're not taking accountability for what somebody else needs to do in their time. He has homework, he has things he needs to do, and you're not accounting for that. There's all these other outliers that you're not accounting for, and that shows a lack of caring and a lack of empathy for the other person. You need to get your mind out of your butt, so to speak, and understand that this is not about you. There are other people involved in this process, and it's not just about you. Yes, I know you're angry, and I know you're upset, but you don't have a reason to be. And you need to stop this negative self-talk that just seems to happen automatically. And you have to remember, this is not automatic. You can control this with breathing, with focus, and with listening. This can help you understand what is coming through another person's mouth and what they are trying to convey to you. And it's important to see between the lines. And this has to take practice, but it's a continuous practice and a process necessary to comprehend and to understand what the other person is saying. It pisses people off when you do not listen, when you do not show that you want to care about what the other person is saying. If you need to, you can ask them to slow down, but don't play games like this, alright? You need to comprehend the question, and you need to understand what the message is that is coming across. You are not a bad actress like this, and you need to stop playing this role, and you need to leave people alone with your negativity. It doesn't do any good to do this, alright? You're fucking around with the wrong people. If you want to marry this man, right now, he's not seeing you like that because of your actions and your responses and what you're doing. And I'm not sure what's going on through your head. Maybe we need to get you on medication before you can help your mom. I am not sure. I'm trying to figure this out for you. But you fighting him like this and not trying to figure it out only causes pain and hurt and angers the other person, because it shows that you have a lack of trust and a lack of belief in what they're saying and what they're trying to teach you. You're spouting out simple things that are not allowing more connections and more connecting of the dots inside your brain. You're not using your critical thinking process. And I'm not sure what's going through your head when you hear the question. Let's try to think back to the question at hand and figure this out. First of all, the question is, if the vehicle was faced in another direction, which is left, what is the projection and what is the forecast that you see in this situation? One, yes, the vehicle is turned a certain way. That's right. And it's crossing over the lines. This is what people see. This is stating the obvious. We're using this to state the obvious, but we're trying to understand further and deeper connections. We state the obvious, and then we continue to make inferences about it based on this fact. The vehicle is turned left. Yes, the window is facing the other way. It's facing on this side and that side, but the problem is they already see that. They already know that. And when he explained it to you, it's the same thing as using your critical thinking skills in observing and then connecting the dots at the same time. Like he said, if you wrote this out, you would understand it better. And if you need to write it out, we can. But he's trying to teach you to make these facts, state the obvious, and inferences on the spot. You know what I mean? You're a college graduate, so you have no reason not to begin making sense and stating the obvious. Also making inferences and references to what's going on. Alright. For example, asking questions, why is it facing that direction? There may be a need for it to be facing that direction, you know? And the inference you would make, like, the vehicle is facing that direction because A, we are turning a certain way, which is an inference. B, we've decided to park this way due to maybe an obstacle that might be preventing the car from parking forward. There might be another vehicle in the way, so to speak, and there's other things that need to be accounted for, such as maybe it was low on gas, and when it turned, it stopped in that vicinity. Okay, and we have to make forecasting and probabilities to come up with the answers to the questions about what is happening here. And when you take accountability for another person, you're doing the same thing. One, you're asking yourself, what does Scott need to do? Or what does the person who is near you need to do? One, he has assignments to complete just like you do. Two, he has to do an AAR, try to take out a loan. Three, he has other things he wants to do, such as homework and notes, and keep up with that. Four, he still wants to go through your paperwork and make sure that everything is up to date. He wants to finalize it. And five, he's not sure what he wants to do, and he doesn't want to drop your life. I mean, he doesn't want to have to drop his life just to serve you. That's not the way it works, okay? And you have to understand that this person in your life also has obligations and outliers that he's trying to take care of. Finances is one. He has bills he needs to pay off. He has rent he needs to take care of, and he also has debt that he wants to take care of. And two, he wants to continue his education, and he has to figure out the best way to do it. And like a child, you as a parent have to come up with solutions on how to do that, so they know that they're not putting their life on hold for you. And so it's important to see that first off and firsthand. And anxiety and fear and all these negative self-talk that's going through your head is gonna block that and make it difficult for you to see and understand that this person is a human being who has needs, wants, obligations that need to be accomplished and complete. And you weren't asking questions about what he needs to do, and so in a sense you weren't taking accountability for who he is and what he wants to do. And if you want to help your mom, you have to remember these things. This is important. You're not a child. You're not a child, Alana. You're strong. You're confident. And you don't need this negative self-talk anymore. You have to change your vocabulary. You have to say you do understand it. You do get it, but not too soon. You have to ask questions, and you have to throw out things to analyze and understand and make inferences and assumptions about things. And you have to ask questions why the vehicle might be facing a certain way. What does a person have to accomplish in their own lives so that they can move forward, so that they know that they're not wasting their time with you? And you need to come up with a time frame that's necessary, and you're kind of beating around the bush. Even though you're seeing it in the house, you're not seeing the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that he needs to come back here within a certain range so he can get what he needs to do. He needs to accomplish what he wants to do. And it's the same thing with the vehicle. You have to observe, you have to imagine, and you have to see it for what it is. But not only that, you have to make connections, connect the dots, like analyzing a photograph. You know what I mean? Why is the vehicle turned a certain way? What's its purpose? You know? Things like that you got to ask questions about. What time of day is it happening, you know, and what's the reason for it? and what is happening in that concept. 1, you have to turn the wheel to go that way. 3, you have to see what the vehicle looks like, but you also have to understand the purpose and the inferences and why this might be that way. You know, it's the same thing with observing the banana, observing a photograph. You know, it takes critical thinking to further analyze and connect the dots in a situation or with a single item, a thing. You have to feel it, you have to see it, you have to taste it, you have to smell it, you have to do all the things, all the senses, but make connections through those things, you know?
Now, end your thing. And find a
Thank
YouTube-
you, Alana.
find a
I
YouTube-
love you.
Find a YouTube